Welcome to the Sand Art unofficial solo automa how to play. What's different about this one is I usually release unofficial automas after a game has been released and that people know how to play the original game multiplayer. So if you don't know how to play, I would highly recommend some of the other gameplay how to plays for the multiplayer game, because I'm really only going to focus on how the solo AI works, because Sand Art is only a 2 to 4 player game. So if you back this for solo, you are backing this for an unofficial solo automa. Now I have created over 20 unofficial automas for various games, and most of them are highly recommended by users from the the solo board gaming community, especially on Facebook. And I even had one that was officially published, and that one was Dice Hospital with the community care expansions. So I do have some experience making these, but this video should help you make a decision on whether or not you want to back Sand Art for this unofficial solo automa. So what do you get with this mode? You get a piece of paper that's going to represent the AI's board, and you're also going to get 15 cards. So the AI is going to take actions just like you would. The goal of the AI is to replicate a two-player experience, giving you that feel of playing against another player without having to manage all of the AI's bottle and trying to look at a flow chart to make decisions. The AI's turn should be quick and snappy so that you can get back to your turn and focus on your strategy. If you look on the AI's board, a game against the AI is going to take place over 4 rounds, and you have easy, medium, or easy, normal, and hard to choose from for difficulty. And in this case, we're going to choose normal. So you need to take 13 of the 15 cards for the first round and make a deck. So I've already done that. I've just given that a shuffle and removed 2 for the first round. That gives us a deck of 13. And so what the AI is going to do is it's going to move on its turn. It's going to block an action space on the tableau. And then it's going to perform some sort of action that's going to see it basically filling in squares on its board. Last thing to note here is that the directional arrow on the top card after the shuffle shows which spot the AI starts off on. So in this case, it is left. So we will place their hand on the leftmost card of the tableau, which is this 2 and 3 layer card. So the AI is the first player, and when it takes its turn, it's simply going to flip over the top card of the deck. The first thing it's going to want to do is to move. So you need to decide you need to see if it moves left or right. In this case, it moves right, and it wants to move 3 spots. So it's going to move 1, 2, 3. And now it needs to decide, does it want to block this top action or this bottom action? So looking at the AI's card, it's going to block the top action. And then it wants to see if it wants to take the top or bottom action on its AI card. In this case, it's going to take the top action because that's what's listed here. And when it takes the take sand action, it's going to see the appropriate section on its player board and cross off the leftmost box that's unchecked. If it were to cross off one of these circular spots, it would go ahead and take another turn immediately. If it were to cross off one of these 1, 2, or 3 numbers, those represent pattern objectives 1, 2, and 3, and it would cross off the leftmost box, starting from top and going left and right. So it would try to complete this entire row before trying to do this row. If you were playing on hard at the setup, you would cross off all these boxes that are shaded. In this case, it simply crosses off the leftmost spot in the take sand action, and its turn is done. You would then go as normal, and then it would go back to the AI. So it would flip over the top card of its deck. It wants to move 1 to the right. It wants to take the bottom action or block the bottom action, and then it wants to take sand. So it'll move 1 to the right, block the bottom action, and then it will take sand. Back to you. Here, it wants to move 1 to the left, block the bottom action. And then it wants to pour blue, and the number it pours equals this number showing on the AI card. And then it's going to fill in a box in objective 3. So let's see this in action. It wants to move 1 to the left and block the bottom action. It wants to move 1 to the left, block bottom, and then it wants to fill in 1 box of blue. So whenever it pours, it's going to reference its AI's board, and all 6 colors are represented: blue, red, yellow, orange, green, purple. In this case, it wants to pour 1 blue, so we'll check off 1 box in blue. It will go up to down, left to right. So it would try to fill in this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, and this one. And if it's completely filled in this bottle, it will start working on the next bottle. Whenever you see colors in here, in this case purple and green, if it said pour 4, for instance, on that example, and so we went 1, 2, 3, 4, it marked off a purple box here. So we would come down here to purple and we would mark off the next box in purple. And then it said it wants to mark off objective number 3. So pattern 1, 2, or 3, it's going to once again go top to bottom, left to right. So it's going to mark off the leftmost box for pattern 3. If it ever fills up the entire row, it will move to the next row and try to start filling that one up. And if it ever fills up an entire row, see this check mark here, that means at the end of the game, it's going to score that specific pattern number. Each game, there are 3 patterns created at the beginning of the game. They're just shuffled and placed randomly. What you're going to do is you're going to sort them from highest to lowest. So I put the 12 here, the 9 here, and the 8 there. And this is pattern 1, this is pattern 2, and pattern 3. So at the end of the game, if it completely fills up this pattern 3 row, it's going to score 8 points for that. If it fills up 2 of these rows, it's going to score 8 points twice. If it fills up this entire row for objective number 2, it'll score 9. And this entire row for objective number 1, it's going to score 12. Just like you have the potential to potentially gain points as you're completing your bottle, the AI is going to be able to gain points at the end of the game for completing their bottles. So let's say we had another action that poured 4 more blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we crossed off 2 greens. So let's go down here to green. And my marker is dying on me. 2 more greens. At the end of the game, if this is what their board looked like, they would score an additional 1 point because this bottle was completely checked off. So let's take a look at a couple of more actions. This one, layer 2 and 3. When that one is drawn, you're going to reference the up or down arrow on the card to the left, and it's either going to take the top or bottom layer 2 and 3 card. In this case, it said top. So it's going to take the 3 layer and it's going to add it near its player area. So it's going to score that at the end of the game. This next one says it's going to shake, and it's going to refresh the 2 cards in either the 5 layer or the 2 and 3 layer based off of the left and right arrow. So in this case, pretend this was a down, so it would take this action. So let's say that was a down into the right. So it's going to take this action because it said down, and then to the right says it's going to shake the 5 layer cards. So just like you would in a multiplayer game, it's going to take these 2 cards, get rid of them, and then it's going to refill with 2 new ones. The 2 that it got rid of will go to a discard pile, and if this deck were to ever run out, which I highly doubt it in a 2-player game, then you would reshuffle it. Another action it might take would be to take a 5-layer card. So in this case, it wants the down 5-layer card, so it would take this one and add it near its player board. The round will end once the AI has gone through 12 actions. So you'll be going through these cards, and then once this last card gets flipped, it does not take an action because there's not 2 cards to combine to make a single action. So you'll take your turn, because the AI is the first player, and then that round will be over. And then to set up for the next round, you'll take all 15 cards again. You'll give them a shuffle, remove 2 at random, put the AI deck there, and when it's the AI's turn, it will simply flip over the top card. Once again, the number of cards in this deck is determined by the difficulty, and there's a handy-dandy reference on this sheet to tell you how many cards in the deck it needs. So once you've gone through that deck 4 times, it will be the end of the game. So on normal, the AI is going to get 48 actions. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you get 48 turns, because there are spots on the AI's board that if it checks it off, it will go again. And this is going to symbolize you not knowing specifically when the game will end. So the game will end in either 2 ways in a solo AI, in a game against a solo AI. Either you will complete your bottle, or the AI has taken all 48 actions. And you don't know how many turns it's going to take. Well, you don't know how many turns you're going to get in order for the AI to take those 48 actions. So as you're filling up your bottle and you get to this line where you have to make a decision, do I take the 8 points or do I take the extra action each round? You can make that decision each game based off of how the AI is flowing through their cards. Have they gotten a lot of these symbols that they've been able to take extra free turns? That's going to symbolize a player filling up their board quickly, or potentially that player is selecting this ability and is able to fill up their bottle more quickly. Once the game ends, because either you or the AI has ended the game, you're going to tally up your points just as normal. And when it's the AI's turn, you're going to tally up its points based off of all these different things, which are the same things that you can get points for. For its bottle points, you're going to look at all the bottles that it has filled up. So in this case, 1 blue plus 2 red, that's 3. Didn't fill up this yellow. Oh, here's another one, 4, 5, 6, 7, because they fill up the green one. Didn't fill up purple. So bottle points is 7. Objective 1, you will come up here and be like, okay, did they finish this entire row? Nope. So they don't score any points for Objective 1, but they do score points for Objective 2 and 3. So they get 9 and 8, which is this fish and face. There's your 9 and 8. If the AI finished the game first, it will score the first finished card. If you ended the game, you will score the first finished card. In this example, I just went ahead and gave it to the AI. For layer cards, any layer cards that they were able to gain on their during their turns, they will add those. In this case, it was 8. And then for most color, so just like a normal player would, it's going to compete for the most red and the most orange. In your case, you're going to count the dots on your bottle to see how many of each color you have. For the AI, you're going to compare your dots to the number of boxes they have filled in here. So in this case, the AI has 9, 10, 11, 12 for red. So if you had 13 or more dots, you would beat the AI for that most red objective. If you had 12 or 11 or less, the AI would get it. If you both get it, I think it's a shared objective. I would have to go back and look at the rules. But if you tie, it would be treated just like it would be in the multiplayer game. So I think you both would get the points. Once again, the other color objective was most orange. In this case, the AI got 6. If you had 7 or more, you would score the 6 points for the most orange color objective. If not, then the AI would. So in this case, I said, okay, let me give it to the red to the AI. And I'll say with 6 that the AI wasn't able to get the orange. So add those all up. This is their total score. Once you've added your total score up, if you have more points than the AI, then congratulations, you have won the game. If not, better luck next time. So that should give you a general idea of how a game against the solo AI will work. I will be posting this unofficial AI to the BGG file page once the game is released. So if you like what you see, go ahead and back it. But I hope you like it, and I appreciate your time.